Let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. Where's all the people who said that the Little Mermaid was going to fail? Where's all the people who said Little Mermaid was going to fail? I want to hear from those people. And we're going to have a conversation about reparations as well. But I want to hear from all the people who said Little Mermaid was going to fail. Because man, oh man, listen, I want to hear from them folks because them folks, they are upset right now. They are hot right now. They are hot. They're bothered. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Listen, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. Show me on the doll where the mermaid hurt you. Show me on the doll where the mermaid hurt you. Because I'm seeing a lot of people doing some splaining right now. A lot of people doing some splaining. A lot of people who are pretending like this whole little mermaid thing wasn't a problem. I got a lot of people out there who are pretending like the whole Little Mermaid thing wasn't a big deal. Like there was people out there like there wasn't people out there making a big deal about this chick becoming a black mermaid. And I gotta tell you, it has been wonderful to watch people be very bothered, be very upset about this black mermaid who, as we can see right now, right, as we can see right now, is causing a ruckus. The theaters are packed, baby. The theaters are packed. The theaters right now are coming back, and the returns are showing that this Black Mermaid is apparently doing very well, and it has the white supremacists and the dominant society really, really bothered, man. It has them upset. It has them. They got issues with it, and I find that interesting because the thing about me, right? Think about me is that you could be a lot of things in the world, but you want to be jelly. These people who are against a black mermaid, do you understand how ridiculous this is? Let me put it into terms for you. See, Halle Bailey, Halle Bailey, I should say, she became Ariel in the new Little Mermaid live action adaptation. And the thing about this is that the Little Mermaid was originally portrayed as a white individual. And that had some people very upset that this fish woman didn't look like they wanted her to look. This fish woman, they felt as if black people were appropriating fish culture. That's how desperate the white supremacists have become. They feel like we are appropriating fish culture. The fish, baby. Listen. First, it was Alex Jones with the frogs. Then it was, complaining about, the Black Panther. You remember when you had a bunch of white folks saying, "Oh man, the Black Panther movie is gonna fail. It's gonna flop. It's gonna be awful." You remember when they said that, right? That first movie, it did very, very well. The second movie, I didn't even see it. I didn't even see it, but I heard it did very, very well. I heard it did well. And the funny thing about that is that you have these people out here saying, "Well, if you go woke, you're gonna go broke." I hear these people out here saying, "If you go woke, you're gonna go broke." Clinton Q says he disagrees with reparations. Hey, Clinton, let's have a conversation, man. Let's talk. Let's use our words, man. I want to talk, Clinton. Come on, Clinton. Let's not hide in the comment section, Clinton. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. I want to understand, why would anyone be against reparations? Who in their right mind would be against reparations? Why would you be against justice and about giving people who you say is just going to spend the money? Why would you not just give us the money to actually spend so that you can stimulate your own economy? I'm just asking the question. I'm also a veteran who's live streaming on this Memorial Day weekend. So, have some kind of respect. Happy Memorial Day to all veterans. And I really, really wish that the way that you can support veterans is by not supporting war and feeding homeless veterans when you see them. Disproportionately, black veterans are homeless. Of all the homeless veterans, disproportionately black veterans are homeless. So if you want to do your part to bring about racial and economic justice, why don't you go find a black veteran today and make their day better? Go buy them a meal. Take them out, buy them some new clothes. Bring them home, let them go and take a shower. They're a veteran. They serve this country. And plus, you can also help a person that's in need. Angelo Dixon says, preach. And Derek Gibson says, we wouldn't be in America if it weren't for slavery. We were forced migrated. Actually, there were people here in this country, in the U.S., in the United States, and also North America before slavery. These people were known as the Moors. And they were African Muslims who traveled from continent to continent. In fact, we know there were probably African people in this continent for the longest time because of Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa was the richest man ever. And when he went over to Egypt land, there's actually a documented conversation that he had with the pharaoh at that time. He mentioned the Canary Stream, and the Canary Stream goes from I want to say Sudan or Lebanon, some part of Africa, over to North America. And so you would only really know about that if you've been there. Like if you're on the Atlantic coast, if you're in like South Carolina, North Carolina, and you do a lot of fishing, and you actually go into the Atlantic Ocean, and you actually go deep sea fishing, you know about the Canary Stream. I know about it because I lived in South Carolina for over 30 years, and I got so many families, and I got so many family members in Charleston and then also in Horry County that I know about that kind of stuff. I mean, if you live in those kind of coastal states, then you would have heard about that kind of stuff. But the thing is that Mansa Musa, to know about it and to describe it the way that he did, there was no way he could have given that kind of description unless he's actually been there. So let's read some more comments here. Mushy Perp says, laugh out loud. Okay, whatever. Warren Witter says they will support reparations once they can be transracial similar to the $5 Indian. Oh yeah, you know it. Nazarite says Babylon, America was here in prophecy before it was called America. Yeah. Chaotic Carissa says I was in South Carolina on this week. Shout out to you. Shade the designer says we always have been here. Yeah, absolutely. Darion Gibson says Mansa Musa's travels is how Britain knew Africa had riches and people to rob and labor traffic. Yep, absolutely. Tina Birmingham says all veterans, not the color of the skin, it's the morals. So the human God sees no color. God sees no color, but white supremacy does. This country clearly does. And you can't have, police misconduct settlements and court settlements, and you have admissions from banks and everything else, and all these court documents saying that there's race that played a role in several of their decisions and also some of their business practices and also the practice of the police and courts and everything else. You've had several DOJ findings with police departments across the country. So you can't just say, well, God doesn't see color. That's great. God doesn't. But God isn't the one that signs the policies. God isn't the one that gave us the 1994 crime bill. God isn't the one that gave us mandatory minimums. God isn't the one that gave us, broken windows policing and freaking stop and frisk. Mustafa says, what's up, brother? What's going on, brother? What's going on? Long time no see. Long time no see. Much love, much love, much love. So I want to have a conversation about The Little Mermaid. It is so interesting because I want that to be an interesting case, right? Of when white supremacy fails. You remember the whole phrase "go woke and go broke"? You remember that when everybody was saying that for the longest time? I mean that phrase. I want to say. That started with 2014, 2015, 2016. I know it was used a lot in 2016, and I know who popularized it. It was a guy named Jeremy Hambley, the Quartering, who started out on this channel called Midwesternly or something like that. Because I remember that because the way that I know it is because if you look on some of his old videos, there's an old intro, it's an old terribly done intro, and guess who did the intro? It was me. I know Jeremy. I talked to him personally. And I know that it was him that came up with the whole go woke and go broke thing, right? Right? And the strange part about that is that they were saying, well, the freaking Little Mermaid is gonna go woke and go broke. Well, no, it's looking up to be the fourth or fifth largest opening of Memorial Day of any movie. of all time, right? And that's the weirdest part. I just find it weird how when you have these successes that you say are woke, you don't talk about those. You don't talk about the Black Panthers. The Black Panther movie. That was, y'all called that woke, and that made a lot of money. You called the Captain Marvel movie woke. That still made money. Most of these movies that you call woke, they still make money. So I want to let you know something, right? These executives, these producers, these directors, these actors, they show up in stuff like Sharknado. So clearly they don't care about what you think so long as they can make a buck. They don't care. The only time the studios care is when they lose money. And the only time they lose money is on stuff like the Emoji Movie. They don't lose money on stuff like Black Panther and a Black Little Mermaid. Right? The original was perfect, but guess what? They did a remake, and the remake was great too. It made them money. And let's be honest, when you say woke, you just mean black. That's it. Right? That's it. Woke just means black. That's all it means. And to be quite honest with you, right, the remake was terrible. Guess what? The remake is going to still make a bunch of money, and you're going to be upset about it, and it won't matter. It won't matter. Listen, your opinion of a remake of a movie doesn't matter when it makes millions of dollars. No one cares what you think if they can go home to their Rolls Royce. No one cares what you think if they can go home to their mansion because of the movie that you say is so woke and so terrible. No one cares at the end of the day. Right? And now let me tell you the stages of grief that we are going through, right? Stage of the grief is, first, they fight you, right? They fought that remake left and right. Oh, why you need a black mermaid? Why you need a black mermaid? If she was Hispanic, you wouldn't care. If she was Asian, you wouldn't care. In fact, there's been Asian Little Mermaid remakes all the time. There's been remakes. This recent remake, right? There's been plenty of remakes of Little Mermaid and most Disney classics. Some of them, I would say, not legal, but there's been plenty of remakes. You just care about this one because you knew it was going to be successful. Because it was. You know how many remakes that you get out there? You know how many bootleg B-tier movies, C-tier movies come out there? You go on Amazon right now, right? Right? You see a bunch of B-tier. I saw a Pacific Rim, a B or C-tier remake of Pacific Rim. It was awful. But it was out there. And no one cares what you think because guess what? This is still going to get streamed. And what makes it even more interesting is that now that we're going through a writer's strike, not only have we demonstrated that this movie is going to be successful, for the longest time, there's not going to be many movies like it. So get used to it. You're going to have to actually start paying talent and actually start relying on diverse talent like black talent to carry the movie industry, games industry, late night shows, you name it, the people that you've ignored the longest. Because you need to start grabbing new audiences. And the reason why we don't watch your shows is because you don't cater to us. But you got a movie now with a Black Little Mermaid that finally did, and you saw what happened. Commercial success. Every time you cater to black folks, commercial success. Right? People are like, oh, no one cares if there's a Black Little Mermaid. Hey, user, let's come have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. Right? There's a bunch of crime. I can see that's going on. And that's really unfortunate. Do you want to know why that's really, really unfortunate? It's because it's mostly a bunch of adult men, right? Adult men who are crying about a Black Little Mermaid. It's a mermaid. I could see if you're arguing about He-Man. I could see if you're arguing about James Bond. Like, don't get me wrong. I think that Idris Elba should be James Bond just to make people upset. But I can see if you're arguing about a male character. You're talking about a mermaid. You're a grown man arguing about a mermaid. It's a mermaid. It's a fish woman. And I'm going to hit you with some hits that wants to actually come on. So let's actually bring them on.
All right. Yeah, you said something really unforgivable. It was I think you brought up Pacific Rim, and how there
Right.
was a rip off of it that was B tier.
Several.
I need everyone to understand my hatred for Pacific Rim itself because I like Neon Genesis Evangelion, and
Right.
all that is was a was a rip off of that. So
Right.
I just
Right.
hate.
But the thing
Anytime
is,
I
though,
get a chance to talk about Pacific Rim, I hate it.
right, right. I want to ask you a question though.
Go ahead.
Did you hear the outrage about the Black Little Mermaid?
I don't think so. I mean, I hear. Oh, no, you know what I have heard? I heard the outrage on the outrage that there were people outraged about the Black Little Mermaid, but I'd never
No, no,
heard
no, no,
that
no,
there
no,
was
no,
a
no.
Black Little.
I'm asking you an honest question. Are you saying that you haven't seen any outrage?
The only outrage I've seen is from
Okay.
like maybe
I'm
someone
gonna say I don't
snippeted a
believe you.
Twitter thing.
I don't
Okay.
believe you.
Oh no, no. Okay.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. No. You- Listen, there were news articles on Fox News. Stop it. Stop it. There was news articles on Fox News. Stop it. No, we're not doing that. No, 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 no. You see what I mean? Now people are lying and reinventing history and trying to shake. I didn't hear any outrage. I only saw the response to the responses. Sir, if I go on Fox News, if I Google search this right now, and if I was right, right, and if I find that, would that make you a liar? And do you know what I also find interesting? It's because mermaids actually is part of African culture. It's not a part of, Norwegian or European or whatever or Asian. It actually comes from the African continent. You want to know how I know this? The depiction of the first mermaid was made in the African continent. The Orisha, as a concept, as African gods and entities, and as a spirits themselves, I actually follow them. I actually follow them. It's part of my religious practice as a pagan. And I can tell you, one of them is named Yemaya or Yemoja or Samoja or Samaya, was always depicted as a mermaid. The classical, half body up human, lower body being a fish with a fish tail. In fact, what we'll do right now is I will pull up my desktop. I will Google a picture of Yemaya. I will show you this. No, 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 no. Not all cultures, Jay. No, 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 Jay. And Maz, if you see lies like that, remove them from the chat. We're gonna have a conversation. Um, so Yemaya as a mermaid is a very old concept. It's a concept that's older than Jesus, actually. That's how old we're talking. We're talking about pre-Jesus 5,000 years. So I want to turn the camera around, right? And I want people to see this. So this is from Teen Vogue, right? Teen Vogue, they did a whole article about this, about Yemaya. The history of Yemaya. Santiera's queenly ocean goddess mermaid. From the Yoruba from the Yoruba religion, Yemaya was brought over to the New World by enslaved Africans as early as 16th century. So this goddess has existed for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. That's a depiction of Yemaya based on all of what we know. And mermaids have existed in Africa and Jamaica and pre civilization. I mean it's been a constant staple, a constant staple. In fact, if you go back here, right, this is from New York Latin Culture magazine, right? Celebrate Yemaya, Mother Orisha of the Sea, right? She was always depicted as a freaking mermaid. She was all the mother of the fish. Mermaids are half fish. In fact, if you look through the Google images, right, you will see mostly mermaids because she was always. And here's Let me see if I try to find something real quick, something that's like historical. Let me see. I probably should bring up the wiki, but here's one of the pictures here. Once again, always depicted as a mermaid. Never fails. In fact, I'm going to read this part here, right? Mermaid wiki. So this is they actually specialize in just like mermaids, only mermaids. So Yamoja or Yamaya is an African mermaid goddess from the Yoruba religion. She's a goddess of waters, fishermen, and pregnant women. She is also connected to the moon. Yamoja is often depicted as a mermaid formed river deity. She can travel to any water source as she needs: seas, rivers, lakes, and lagoons. Her home is considered to be rivers, though, especially the Ogun River in Nigeria. So, as you can see, Yamaya has always been a mermaid. In fact, if we just, again, let's see, Black Paper Magazine, let's go here. Because I know I was bringing up some kind of study about this. The Philadelphia Tribune, that's one I was looking at. But where's that one particular article that I saw? Here's a Yamaya necklace that people are selling. That's a mermaid necklace. It is. It has always been depicted, and I'm gonna show you something real quick. So the way that you kind of can see me as somewhat of an expert. So this isn't somewhat of isn't just a thing for me. So I'm an African pagan. Like I'm a pagan. I follow different religious beliefs, but I specialize in the Orisha, where Yamaya. I call her Yamaya, where she comes from. But let me show you how deep I am into this. Right? Show you how deep I am into this. So, this is my little makeshift altar. This is Ogun. He's one of the most popular Orisha. This is for Anansi. He's one of the spider Orisha. In fact, he is the spider Orisha. That is Oshun. She comes from the same line as Yamaya. Here's a book, Knowing the Orisha, Gods and Goddesses. Cooking for the Orishas. Orishas and voodoo. So, Yamaya, the black mermaid, comes from that same tradition. So I'm somewhat of an expert on it. I not only know the African gods and goddesses, I even buy cookbooks. So I really go into my paganism, okay? I really go into my paganism. I kind of know my thing. And so Yamaya being, a mermaid goddess, she's always been depicted like that. And there's a reason for that. Because there's certain cultures, right, who when they were seafaring and when they were out near the ocean, they would interact with the water a lot. They would interact with a whole lot of sea creatures, right? And when you look at, many of the early depictions of sea creatures, a lot of that stuff came from the African continent, right? A lot of that stuff does. And the main reason is that we are the earliest civilization. So your depictions of sea creatures are going to come from us. You're gonna create your own little spin-offs, right? Granted. But the base of what you go for is based on us. The base of it. Now, we can go a little bit deeper. So when it comes to Yamaya, the mermaid goddess, she was not only prevalent in the African continent, but when, early explorers, white people, Hispanic people, when anybody would encounter the African continent, they would bring back many stories about the Orisha. In fact, the Orisha, Shango, Ogun, Yamaya, Oshun, Anansi, they predate Jesus. Seriously, one of the earliest mentions of the Orisha is more than 1,000 years before Jesus, and many historians suspect that it's even older. So when you start playing mermaids, you look silly because it looks like it makes you look like you don't know history. Mermaids don't come from white people. Never did. It doesn't really make sense that it would, right? Because we know that early white people, they weren't really looking at mermaids like that. They shouldn't really be doing that because you got your white skin complexion because you came from a more colder climate. So why would a mermaid be in a snow-like climate? They would probably be in a warmer climate, right? given that they're half human. They're more warm-blooded than a regular fish, right? Otherwise, why even be a mermaid? Why not just evolve to like a full freaking fish? If you think about, if mermaids were actually real, and if they evolved from humans to be some kind of fish creature, they would evolve from African people, meaning they were probably dark if they're actually real. So, you know, historically speaking, when you get white people complaining about black mermaids, you don't know history. And you don't really know, biological anthropology or biological evolution, because it doesn't really make sense that a mermaid would have white skin. If anything, it probably have green skin. If anything, but it certainly wouldn't be white. So I don't know why you complain about, Ariel not being white when common sense tells you mermaid's probably going to be, green skin anyways, or probably not going to be white, probably going to be gray like a manatee. Right? And then there's no such things as mermaids. So why was anybody complaining in the first place? You got, poverty, you got inflation, you got people out here losing their jobs, losing their businesses, you got politicians who are corrupt, you got cops who are corrupt, judges who are corrupt, and you're worrying about a black mermaid? All right. Hey, you better than me. Right? You better than me. You better than me. Hey, if you don't agree with me, you got more than 1,000 followers, come on here and disagree with me. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. Or you're just going to hide in the comment section. Ah, that's what it is. See? You see, bravery, it doesn't come from, typing. Typing, it's a skill that you can have, especially if you do it on the screen, real quickly. I don't like you because you're a black guy with an opinion. But, if you slow down, and you come on, you have a conversation, maybe we can get to the bottom of why you feel the way that you feel. If not, I could just bang you from the chat. Right? Dems are always scared. I mean, I wouldn't care if they would or wouldn't. Right? Anyone that's offended by a black mermaid has got a lot to do in their life. Well, if you don't care about the black mermaid and you don't care about the chat, then you got to go. Goodbye. Nobody cares. You just try to claim everything to make yourself sound intelligent. Well, that's unfortunate that you feel that way. But I don't like disruptions in my chat, and I don't like keyboard warriors. So you can go through. But my thing is, Biden sheet. Okay, why do you bring up Biden in a conversation that has nothing to do with Biden? I'm gonna invite you on, and if you keep disrupting, you got to go. But we're gonna continue. So, Black Mermaid conquers all. Black Mermaid defeats white supremacy. Oh, man. And the best part about it is the white supremacists have to just look at it and be upset. And be bothered. Right? The young lady can sing. Yes, Halle Bailey can sing. Her voice is the voice of an angel. There's a video. If you go over to YouTube and you search for it, she actually did a part of your world, right? And she did it live at Disney at 3 a.m. This girl sounded like that at 3 a.m. At 3 a.m. It was amazing. It was amazing. They were intimidated by a mermaid. Halle Bailey, she defeated all. She defeated white supremacy. All right? Them boys, listen, them little trolls, they sit there home, they are big mad. They sitting there typing, we won't see this movie. Downvote movie. Black mermaid. Control yourself. Stop foaming at the mouth. AG Podcast says the movie's a flop. That movie's gonna make $125 million profit. What are you talking about? That was just reported on Yahoo Entertainment, and MSN Entertainment just put it out too. And I just saw it on Fox. Fox reluctantly reported that. What are you talking about? Hush. The movie's gonna make so much money. Listen, if they make 1 penny profit, it's a profit. It ain't a loss. What are you talking about? They're gonna make over $100 million profit. You don't know what you're talking about. Listen, if anything that I do causes me to make over $100 million profit, I'm gonna tell you to shut up. I don't care what you think. This man said the movie's gonna be a flop. What movie? The Little Mermaid with the black Little Mermaid? Listen, the Little Mermaid made so much movie. It made so much money to the point where that became a headline. They intentionally, when they wrote the headlines, they put Halle Bailey and they put Melissa McCarthy out there because they said, "Oh, Melissa McCarthy, she gonna be in it, so it's gonna flop too." No, she was a great, great Ursula. I loved her as Ursula. I think that was the perfect role for her. I mean, granted, usually she's like a good supporting actress, but honestly, she was a great villain. I thought it worked. Honestly, I was looking forward to her becoming a good villain, a good funny villain. I think that she almost works as an anti-hero, almost leaning towards villain type of person, that can be funny and crack jokes. That works for her. That works for her. And Halle Bailey, you talking about a voice of an angel. I'm sorry. Part of Your World, the original version, it pales in comparison to Halle Bailey's version. Don't get me wrong. The original Little Mermaid has a special place in my heart. Don't get me wrong. But Halle Bailey, her version of Part of Your World, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a grown man, and I will admit it. I almost came to a tear, man. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Her voice is amazing, right? It was amazing. Beautiful voice. I mean, when you look at her, right? Right? When you look at her, she's such a small person in like stature, and you would never think her voice is that powerful. Do not let her size fool you. That girl can sing. Her voice is like a titan. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. And the white supremacists are so upset with that. When you see a black person, right, who performs and they do well, and they hold their own, they don't need a white person to make them look good. They only need their talent. They only need their talent. That stands out. And that was beautiful to see. I'm so glad that she triumphed over all those people who criticized that movie, who put her down. Give me a second. There you go, brother. There you go, Nazia. What's going on? King of Consciousness. What's going on? What's going on? Much love, much love, much love. So we also going to have a conversation about reparations. So make sure you invite all your friends over who doesn't like reparations. We're going to have a conversation about that, man. We got to talk about this. So reparations. So we've had several bills introduced across the country about reparations. And it was discussing all these task forces that we have across the country. Right? And we've had one in Chicago. We've had one in Florida. We've had a meeting in Florida where a black man, powerful black brother, has now gone viral because he demanded $3 million for black people there. You've had a reparations meeting in Chicago. Our brother Afro Elite, he live streamed that Chicago reparations meeting. Shout out to Afro Elite. Shout out to Afro Elite. If you're not following Afro Elite on TikTok and YouTube and also on Twitter, you are missing out. That brother is a good brother. You all would love him because I love him. I rock with him, so you should too, right? I rock with him, and you should too, right? Now, my thing is that there's been conversations about reparations across the country. But the conversations that I want to have this evening and this afternoon is about why people oppose it still. What is it about? Do you understand what reparations would actually do and the economic boon it would be for the country? Do you understand that? Because if you understand that, then why would you be against your country seceding? Why would you be against your country doing well? What is it about reparations, right? Something tangible being given to black folks. What is it that bothers you so much? And you say, well, nothing was given to me. That's not true. That's not true. Every other group has gotten something. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter who you are. Right? And driving crash. I want to invite you on. I want to have a conversation. And don't post nothing else until you do. No, I want to have a conversation. Because I want to understand the reason why people oppose things. Like, I know why I support it. I want to understand why you oppose it. Anyone who's against reparations is racist, yeah. It just depends on how racist are you. It does come in levels, but it's all racism. Don't get me wrong, it's all racism. It should all be opposed. But people have their different reasons. And I want to hear your reasons. Why are you against economic justice, about paying your debts? About also making an economic boon. If you give foundational black Americans reparations checks, direct cash payments, do you realize what that would happen? What that would actually cause? You say that, oh, well, you guys are just going to spend all the money, you're just going to blow all the money. Do you understand how the American economy works? It works off of spending and confidence. And if those business owners who are Asian, who are Jewish, who we usually shop at, we go and we shop at their stores. If they hear that we're going to get this economic boom, do you understand what's going to happen to the stock market? Stock market is going to jump, and everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. Johnny Apple, you're coming in under a sock account. You've already been banned one time. Don't come back. This guy's a troll. And even if it goes to China, guess what? Money will still be spent right here. Do you understand that? Listen, George Bush didn't stop reparations checks. Well, not reparations, but stimulus checks when all that money was almost assuredly going to go to China. White Mexican, let's have a conversation.
Yo,
How you doing? Hey, I want to have a conversation. So, tell me, what is it about reparations that you oppose? And I want to be concise, right? Something that you can actually reply to, and not cliches. I don't want to hear Fox News.
I didn't
Please.
say I oppose it at all,
Oh no, I was just
but
asking because, yeah.
I don't oppose any reparation. Man, I'm Mexican. My people are already still picking oranges and stuff, so it doesn't really matter. But the fact that
Hmm.
it is like, how are we supposed to pay reparations when we've hit our debt ceiling? How are we supposed to pay that money? We
Man.
don't have no money.
Actually, we just reached a deal. So no,
Well,
that's not a thing anymore. You can't.
well,
So hold on,
here,
wait.
here, here, here.
You've just wait, sir, wait. I'm talking. I wasn't finished.
Okay, go ahead.
You've just been presented with new information. Are you going to change your mind now?
I've never been against reparations, period.
No. You just presented that it's too expensive based on the debt ceiling, and we don't have any money. I just told you we
Well,
just reached a deal. They just announced that.
o-
They just announced that within the past 5 minutes.
okay, if that's the case, then go right ahead.
Okay.
It's no skin
So,
off me.
but I want you to understand something, right? It was never about the money, because here's where I'm going to explain to you. We even let's just run the gauntlet, right? I'm gonna throw you a bone. I want to steel man my argument and give you the best possible argument possible. So let's say that we go into default, and let's say that the BRICS currency, you know about BRICS, right?
I have an understanding.
Let's say the BRICS currency that comes out, and the whole goal with that is to devalue the dollar. Let's say that all that happens. Do you think that we are going to stop giving money to Ukraine?
Why should we give money to Ukraine?
But that I'm asking you, do you think that we're going to stop?
Of course not. They're not going to start giving money to Ukraine.
And that's a whole different country, right?
Has nothing to do with us.
So wouldn't you rather that money go to us?
I'd rather it go to people that in need.
Well, that's the whole thing. We are in need. We're disproportionately the homeless, and when you look at, this is actually Memorial Day. I'm a combat veteran rated at 100%, so I know a little bit
So am
about this.
I.
I I know that in terms of homeless veterans, this disproportionately, it's black veterans. In fact,
Yeah.
in my local area in Tacoma, I do a lot of outreach for veterans with my own money, and I use kind of ironically my pension, because they call it disability compensation, but it's really like a pension. I use that to go feed homeless veterans, so it's kind of like ironic. But I notice it's mostly black dudes, and it's even in states like Washington State where it's like fantastically white,
Yeah.
but it's still so many black. It's like, how does that happen? So I'm thinking to myself, if we get reparations, like a lot of things that ails the country would instantly be solved. Like one thing is we know that we don't see millionaires and billionaires out here shooting people and robbing people. So that lets me know that a lot of the crime that we're seeing is a reflection of economics. And I'm thinking to myself, we're the one group that hasn't gotten a cash influx. The one group that hasn't gotten it. I mean, you're talking about people who don't even live here who are getting it.
Well, I know. I understand. I
That's
completely
crazy.
listen, brother.
Yeah.
I spent 12 years in the Marine Corps. I was 011 Field Artillery Cannoneer, stationed at Kalamazoo, 3rd Battalion, 10th Marines, 3 combat deployments. I'm 90% VA disabled. I haven't even received my VA check because of the fact of the things that are going on in Congress. But the fact that we're pouring more and more money into another country that has nothing to do with us, but yet we have people in this country right now who can't even get a hold of $1,000 for emergencies.
That's crazy.
We
That's
have
crazy.
on average, we have 33,000 homeless veterans in every state. That's 1.5 million veterans right now who are living on the
Yep.
streets. But yet, we want to pour $113 billion into a country that's not going to benefit us at all.
Well, the thing is that there's a reason why that happened. And do you know why that happened?
Honestly, I'm tired of being with these wars. I spent in 3 wars. I'm tired of seeing people fight over each other. If they want to fight with Russia, let them fight with Russia. Leave us out of it. Take
Right.
care of our own business.
I feel you. I feel you. But do you understand the reason why it's happening? Why are we sending so much money over to that country, and why we brought in 100,000 of them, and they were rushed through over the Mexicans, over the Haitians. They were rushed through, right? And in places like Seattle and in Washington State, some of the abandoned hotels that we were supposed to put homeless veterans in, they put the freaking Ukrainians in.
I know. I know.
So that do you understand the reason why it's happening like that? It's happening like that is because they're white. You haven't seen Mexicans being treated like this quickly. Yes, you've seen some migrants be put in some hotel rooms. You've seen that, right? But in terms of how fast this is happening, I have never seen this kind of speed.
Listen, I'm all for equality right now, bro. But
That's
listen,
wild, though.
it's to the point where I'm sick. I'm sickened in every day that our fellow American man cannot even get ahead in this country. But yet we're worried about everybody else except for the people that are right here starving and
Exactly.
can't pay their bills. They can't. And the fact is, if you work your butt off, and now I'm not getting it political, but there was a bill that was passed that is going into effect right now. That if you work your butt off and you do everything right, you have a good credit score, and you go to buy a new house, you are going to be penalized for doing so. Well, how does that work?
Yeah. Yeah. I read that bill. I read it.
How does that work?
Listen, this is why I keep telling people, right? Joe Biden is not your friend. Black folks have been saying that for the longest time, and this is so unfortunate how the media spins things and how racist Fox News spins things, right? Because they understand that most black people don't vote. So how can you say that we are responsible for Joe Biden when you understand that's only a very small minority of black people, right,
Malcolm
who
X already
actually
warned
voted
us
him in?
about it. Malcolm
Like,
X already warned us.
yeah,
The
yeah,
white
like
liberal man is not the friend of colors. He's not.
no. Well, the thing is that the white liberal man, Malcolm X, he definitely spoke about it. But brother, is there anything else that you want to add?
What's that?
Is there anything else that you want to add?
Man, listen, you keep doing what you're doing. You
All
know,
right,
I love you. Have a good
love you
day.
too, brother.
Enjoy
And be
yourself.
safe, man. Be safe. All right, man. All right. Let's continue. Let's actually continue the conversation. So the thing is that when it comes to these conversations, I like to actually have an exchange, and that was that was a very very good exchange. We could mutually agree. He avoided a lot of the black issues. I get it. A lot of people are programmed to do that, but we could agree that we're sending money to other countries right now, while we have homeless people, black people who are on the streets right now. You are taxing black people to not help black people who are living right here, but you are helping those white Ukrainians. Now, all I know is I saw how you treated Haitians because they have the same skin color as me. I saw how you treated Haitians. Why did those Ukrainians get rushed through? Why did those Ukrainians, why are they getting hotel rooms? Why are they getting brand new cars? Why are they getting stipends? Why are they getting American money? I'm not Russian or Ukrainian. And people are trying to avoid the obvious answer. It's because they're white. It's because they're white. Get it through your head. You ain't never seen us treat no Nigerian like this. You ain't never seen us treat no Mexican like this. You ain't never seen us treat no person from Senegal like this. You ain't never seen us treat somebody from the Democratic Republic of Congo like this. You ain't never seen us treat somebody from Rwanda like this. You ain't never seen us treat somebody from Haiti like this, or Jamaica, or anywhere else. It's blatant racism against black people. Yes, there are brown people who get discriminated against too. But let's be honest and keep it a buck. It's against black people. If there was a country called Negrostan that was right next to America, and there was no mutual agreement of immigration, do you think our borders would be more or less secure? It will be super secure. Do you notice that there's no Afro Latinos who are coming through? Where are all the Afro Latinos who we were told about? We were told for the longest time, hey, you guys should support this and support that based on the Afro Latinos, black people support this immigrant and that immigrant and the Ukrainians, right? Right? Support all these people. Support all these people. And yet, when it comes time for us to get something, we are told to support all these groups. Support the Ukrainians, support this group, that group, Europe, and yet when it comes time to look at people who look just like us, Haitians, did you remember how you treat the Haitians? You chased them down on horseback with whips and ropes, bags, nets. You netted them like they were animals. So explain something to me. You got money for Ukraine. You got money to send over to Europe. You got money to send over to countries that I haven't even been to and don't even care to go to. Haven't been to, don't even care to go to. You got money for all those people, but I see American families. And again, I'm not white. I'm not Asian. I'm not Hispanic. I'm black. So I live among black people. I see black people. The very, very few black people who live in Washington State, I know some of those black folks, and I know their struggle. I know what they're going through, and I know that the government is not helping them, but they're helping Ukrainians. And it lets me know we need money for reparations. We need cash for our community. I ain't white. I ain't Asian. I'm not going to speak for them. I'm not the guy to speak for them. I can speak for us, and I know that we need the cash. We need the cash for several reasons. One, when a race soldier, aka U.S. cops, the police, The modern day slave patrol, when they harm us, I want for us to have the money to sue. But we can't do that if we don't have the economic mobility to make that happen. Like, for example, prime example, right? Prime example. The reason why black people are targeted is not that every individual cop is a racist. It's that it's just easier to target a black person when you got to meet a quota because black people don't have the money to sue you. That's the only reason why. So yeah, there are a lot of racist cops out there, but there are cops out there who are racist, who are actually racist adjacent by enforcing things that you kind of have to know is going to target black people because you're actually targeting black people. See, when you want to do civil forfeitures, when you want to do no-knock raids, when you want to test your new weapons, when you want to, just have a little fun, when you're just way too bored and you want to test all this new SWAT gear, you pick a black family. Because you understand that the worst that's going to happen is you can frame the person, or if there's a big old riot or some kind of, disturbance, you can just explain away, well, they had this record and that record. See, that's what a lot of black people have been talking about. This is why we need reparations. We need reparations to not only protect ourselves and to police our own communities, but also have the money to bring you to court when you harm a black person. See, I want a black person who lives in Seattle to provide the legal funds for a black person living in Georgia if they get hemmed up by the police and they got to sue. I want a black person living in Ghana who was over here and they got the reparations check and they decided to go move over to Ghana to go start, some kind of business. I want them to be able to send money back to America the same way that people treat us in this country that we actually built. I want us to go over to other countries, start a business, get the money, send the money back. The same way you get people from the Hispanic community, from other communities who come here, get work. God bless them. Get work, send money back. I want us to get our check, start businesses, and then use that money to build up our communities. It's a debt owed. A debt owed. And listen, if you hear the black slave thing, or black slave owners typically owned their relatives. It was the only way to get them out of slavery. So it's insulting when you make points like that, right? It's insulting when you make points like that because you understand what you're saying. You understand the history. You just try to be funny, right? When black slave owners, again, people bring up black slave owners. What about the black slave owners? Those were black people who were buying their relatives, and I know because there's several stories like that when those people bring that up, they never bring up those stories, which lets me know you haven't done any research into it. You're just being a racist. Had you researched it, you would realize the only way to get your family members out of slavery was to buy their freedom. The same way that you likely had to buy your freedom. Like for example, right? You would have a black person who would escape. They would go up to the north, they would get their freedom, and then they would send money back. They would actually send couriers by horseback with money. Buy the relatives, have the courier bring the relatives back. Because that black person said, I ain't going back down there. Listen, I understand that I got to make a business transaction, but I'm going to send somebody down there. I ain't going back down there now. Listen, if you escape slavery, are you going back to your former enslaver to make a business transaction? Nah, bruh. No, so you would send an emissary or a courier to go do the business for you, or you would go get a white person to go talk to that actual person that actually own your relatives. In fact, that was a very, very common thing to get, some all right white people give them the money, have them go and get your relative, get them to bring the relative back, and that's how people were actually freeing their relatives. So you get people who are saying, well, black people own slaves. That's why black people own slaves. That's why black people own slaves. It's because they were freeing their relatives. They had no other choice. They had no other choice. And you got people out there saying, well, what about the African people who sold slaves? You went over to the African continent and you stole all the resources, and the only thing left to sell was people. You caused both scenarios. The selling of slaves, because again, why would they sell you slaves if you never showed up there to actually buy them? Why would they sell you slaves if you never showed up there to buy them? Think about it. I want you to imagine, someone using that excuse for CP. If you're caught with CP, I mean, they sold it to me, but you brought it. You knew what that was. Yeah? If you somehow think that absolves you, it doesn't. And it says, oh, there was white slaves in America, indentured servants. If you see any mentions like that, mods, ban them from the chat. Remove them. Mute them. I don't want to hear, right, a bunch of nonsense. Garbage can juice. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. And I don't have time for trolling. And good job, Maz. Good job, Nazia, for getting rid of all the trolling. But garbage can juice, I would love to talk to you. Would love to talk to you. Would love to have a conversation with you. But I see that my boy Nazia already got you up, out of here. I am not my ancestors. Says my thing is, how can immigrants get our tax dollars? I feel you. I feel you, man. Like it's getting to the point where it's like I've been trying to be understanding on that end, but it's getting to the point where it's just like, okay, bro, my folks are suffering, and we got people who are not citizens who are just getting all the money. It just doesn't seem fair. Doesn't seem right to me. Doesn't seem right to me. And people out there saying, well, we gotta show love and compassion, and we gotta be open, and people who say that, right? They never move immigrants into their communities. They always move them into black communities. Because how I actually know that? Do you want to know how I know that? I'm currently in Washington State, one of the whitest states in the whole union. And do you know what I noticed? You see some Hispanic people, but you don't really see a whole lot of illegal immigrants inside of white neighborhoods or these gated communities. You don't really see that. You see them in places like Lakewood, like Seattle, in some of the slums. You see them in maybe some of the poorer parts and some of the rural parts where they can be hiding out from ICE. You don't really see them in these well-to-do neighborhoods. So these people are rushed in from all over the world, and they are rushed in to undermine black people. And people will hear that opinion, and they'll say, oh, are you against people coming over? I have no problem with people immigrating to this country. What I have an issue with is people being prioritized over your native black population when your native black population hasn't gotten any economic justice, any kind of help, any kind of tangibles, any kind of benefits that every other group gives. In fact, you give those tangible benefits to people who are not citizens. We are your native black population. We have been ignored for the longest time. And people are sitting here deflecting, lying, BSing. It doesn't work. The game is up. Black folks have woken up to that stuff. Just call us freaking Republicans or right wing. You're not going to convince someone that someone who puts out 6 to 8 videos a day about how bad cops are, talking about reparations, is somehow a Republican. Shut up. Because when you do stuff like that, you understand what you're doing. This is why I don't care about the whole Republican Democrat stuff. You're both trash. Democrats and Republicans are awful. Awful. None of them have done anything for black people. And if you claim that they have, you're lying. What tangible thing has any political party done for black people? And when and before you answer, right? Before you answer, let me point something out to you. Black people are disproportionately the homeless, right? Black people, in terms of the veterans, are treated the worst. Black mothers oftentimes don't make it out of hospitals when they give birth. Black women are routinely abused. Black women have a hard time in the workplace. Every black woman knows this. Black men are disregarded and dehumanized. Black home ownership has dropped. Black business ownership has dropped. If all those things are true, even the police and even the criminal justice system and mass incarceration, if all those things are a factor, you got black folks who can't even be mentally ill and be on a subway without getting choked out. If all those things are true, what in the hell has any political party done for black folks? If all those things are currently true, what have they done? Because everything that I just mentioned is out of our control. We can't control what white supremacists do to us on freaking subways or in law enforcement. Can't control that. Can't control a no-knock rate. We can't control when people get, like in the Breonna Taylor in that situation, cops, right? Cops who get a warrant from a judge based on lies. Based on lies. Based on lies. Based on lies. Based on nothing but pure lies. And they rush in the house. Rush in the house. Take someone's life. Can't control that. Can't control that. Can't control how a white supremacist is going to sabotage water supplies in Jackson, Mississippi, and also Flint, Michigan. Can't control that. Can't control someone burn down Black Wall Street. Can't control someone burn down Rosewood. Can't control all the Black Wall Streets being burned down. Can't control that. Can't control a bank looking at a freaking black lender with a doggone near 800 credit score. One person is a doctor married to a lawyer, both of them black, can't get a loan, but you got white folks with 500 credit scores that can get loans from Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo. Midnight Passion, let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. And I don't want to see you post any more things in the chat. Let's have a conversation. Don't ban her. Keep her there. I just want to have a conversation. Midnight Passion, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to show up. We're going to have a conversation. You're not going to just keep talking. No. We're going to go back and forth. I'm going to talk. I'm going to be quiet. Then you're going to talk. We're just going to go back and forth. But you're going to come here in 2 minutes, or I'm going to ban you from the chat. Well, then why are you on TikTok if you were out of the shower? Goodbye. Have a good day. See, these people, they just want to post things in the chat because when they get called out on things, they can't defend their position. Can't defend it. Can't defend it. Thomas Sowell. I don't care what Thomas Sowell has to say. Don't care. No, she was white. So, wait a minute. So you on TikTok coming out of the shower, listen to a black man speak? Uh, I mean, if that's what you into, but I didn't need to know about that. Okay, I don't want to know about that. Don't post that kind of stuff in my chat, please. I don't want to know about that. I'm married. I got a wife. Lord have mercy. But back to what I was saying. The overall point that I'm making is that when you look at the condition that black people, in specifically foundational black Americans or black descendants of American slaves, freedmen, black freedmen, when you look at our condition in this country and you look at how the criminal justice system operates, you look at how law enforcement acts, you look at some of these white supremacist vigilantes. You look at a lot of stuff that happens to black folks, some of the poverty, some of the economic deprivation, some of the business deprivation, some of the business connection deprivation, the deprivation of black farmers, black veterans, you name it. Those are all reasons for us to get reparations outside of it being a debt owed. Because when you repay a debt, you not only repay that debt, you also rebuild your country. No one is saying that the Native American casinos aren't a good thing. They're great. They make money. We want the same opportunities. If we can get a huge cash influx, I guarantee you we will spend that money. A lot of us will save it. A lot of us will leave the country. A lot of us will do all stuff. But I guarantee you it will be an overall benefit for America, for this country, for the United States of America. It will be an overall benefit. Stimulus needs to happen specifically that is disproportionately to homeless. It's not a handout. It's repaying a debt and also saving your country. Because again, a lot of other groups of people tend to save their money in bulks. A lot of us tend to not do that. We tend to spend the money, and the American economy needs spending right now. You need people to go out there and go to Target, go to Walmart, go to the Gap, go to Old Navy, go to God, H&M. I mean, name it. They have to go. Hot Topic. They have to go shopping. The stores are suffering right now. The stores are suffering right now. Are you not seeing this? Are you not seeing all these banks failing? These banks are failing, right? Right? Because there isn't that many freaking deposits. And there aren't that many deposits because businesses are failing. And individual Americans are having a tough time saving money right now. So right now, if you take the black population who's known to spend money in buckets, and you give us buckets of cash. And it's not every black person. It's just black descendants of American slaves. The ones who can prove their lineage. That's not even half of the black people in the country. It's not going to be that expensive. Once you do that cash inflection, give it a month. Right? Give it a month. I guarantee you, as always, black people will save this country. We've always done it. A lot of our inventions, a lot of our innovations, our dances, our music, our culture, you use to make money anyways. We just want a slice of the pie. The same pie that everyone else has eaten from, to our detriment. What about Japanese in prison in World War? They got reparations. Guy, nausea, guys got to go. That just. What about the Japanese in prison in World War II or the white slaves before there was? You're trolling, right? Yeah. Let me just no. See, I don't do this kind of stuff. I don't do that kind of silly trolling. Right? Most direct descendants of a slave are in their 50s and 60s. No, nope, 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 nope. I'm a direct descendant, and I'm not in my 50s. I can trace my lineage. I'm directly from South Carolina, and I can trace my lineage, baby. In fact, I can tell you some of my parents and grandparents, and you can just look up their names. Um, the thing is that most black people, if you are a direct descendant of American slaves, you can trace your lineage. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Anyways, guys, it's gonna be it for me today. You guys be safe out there. I'm having a little bit of shindig a little bit later. Someone's gonna be coming over, and you guys be safe. I'm glad the Little Mermaid defeated white supremacists, and reparations are coming. Until next time, horns up, peace out, good night, and good luck.